So with just 15 and a half PPR fantasy points the last 2 weeks, what on earth is wrong with Austin Ekeler, running back for the Los Angeles Chargers? This is the Fantasy Sports Boss with another fantasy football crisis point, and Ekeler absolutely deserves to be mentioned in this space. So last week, he came back from his ankle injury, only put up 10.2 fantasy points, 14 carries for 27 yards against the Dallas Cowboys, a tough Dallas Cowboys defense, 4 catches for 35. So there was at least a little bit of an excuse. Maybe some rust. Dallas defense is really good. And then yesterday, the bottom fell out. 5.6 PPR points, 14 carries for 45 yards, one single catch for 1 yard against the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Los Angeles Chargers were absolutely never really in this game. Even though it was 31-17, the Chiefs were never really threatened in this game. So now we have to wonder, is there something wrong with Austin Ekeler? I mean, obviously, this is a league-winning guy. 100 plus catches last year, unbelievable amounts of touchdowns the last 2 years. However, this summer, I did tell you guys to be very, very careful about drafting Ekeler because a couple of reasons. A, 28 years old, which is really getting up there for running back. Two insane workloads the last couple of seasons. Even though he put up all these gaudy numbers, that was a lot of touches for a smallish back. Now, obviously, he's built of granite, but Austin Ekeler is still a smallish back, and all of those carries and touches take a toll. So, no surprise when we saw him come down with an ankle injury right out of the gate in week 1, even though he had a really good game his first outing. But then he just hasn't looked like the same player, and he actually got banged up against the Chiefs, went down on a first half carry, stayed in the game, but he just doesn't look like himself. He doesn't look like he has that explosion. Is he still impacted by the ankle injury? I think he is. I think he still feels it. It was a high ankle sprain, even though nobody wants to openly admit it. It was a high ankle sprain for Austin Ekeler. And these can linger up to 6 weeks. So Ekeler, I think, is still feeling the effects of that. And then we had to watch Joshua Kelly, who never did anything when Ekeler was out, take a long one, take a handoff. What was it, like 40 plus yards for a touchdown, while Ekeler really did next to nothing yesterday. That was very frustrating as well if you're an Ekeler owner. And on top of that, this team is just really, really badly coached. And the offense is in neutral. Losing Mike Williams was like a major, major blow to this offense because Williams stretched the field like few players in the NFL. And it really opened up the underneath passing game to not only Keenan Allen, who also was struggling, but Ekeler, right? Both of these guys feasted on the underneath passing attempts from Justin Herbert when Williams is drawing the deep coverage. Now, Josh Palmer did a decent job yesterday, but he's not Mike Williams. So I do have concerns. We all know Brandon Staley is not a great head coach. Justin Herbert is not playing well. The offense just looks dysfunctional. They're not protecting Herbert, who also has a finger injury that could be impacting him as well. But for to get only 2 targets was like gross negligence by the Chargers. I mean, you got to design some dump offs to Ekeler because that's one of his greatest strengths, if not his greatest strength as a player is in the receiving game. But listen, I'm concerned, all right? Moderate level concern. I don't think he's 100% healthy. The offense does not look in sync. They're not protecting the quarterback. These are a lot of things, and they're poorly coached as well. So, but the one oasis here is that they have the Chicago Bears next week. The Bears, Sunday Night Football. Not going to have Justin Fields, so it should be a positive game script. If Ekeler can't get on track against the Bears, then this is going to get really ugly. He has the Jets a week after that. That's a very good run defense. Then the Lions, even though they got shredded by the Ravens, it still is a very solid Lions defense as well. So the next couple of weeks are going to look pretty rough if he can't get on track against the Bears. Do you buy low on Austin Ekeler? I still think you do, right? He's just too good to be this bad for for the long term. But there are some concerning things, at least in the intermediate, that we have to be worried about. All right, guys, hit that subscribe button. More videos on the way soon.